Thank you. Welcome to Young People Say. This is a talk show for young people where youths from all over talk about issues freely that affect them as young people. They're also representing young people from all over the world, I want you to believe. And today, we are having very special guests on Young People Say. These are three beautiful young women, all the way from Jamaica, the foster triplets. Please help me to welcome the three beautiful young ladies. Welcome. You guys are looking beautiful. Thank you. So, yes, I know that you've come to Zimbabwe to visit Zimbabwe, but we want to know, who are the foster triplets?
Well, I cannot say who you are. I know who I am. I'm just kidding. We are a set of young ladies who love God and who love each other. And we are in ministry together. Our aim is to make it to the kingdom together. And I think as youth, our job or purpose actually is to rally together to try to reach to the kingdom. That's the ultimate goal.
Beautiful. Well said. Maybe people would want to know your names. You are so much alike. We need to know your names, and I'm hoping that I will remember the names. We'll start from that end.
Okay, my name is Malaika Foster, and I am the firstborn of these two. And who are you? Who am I? That's a really good question. I am Michaeli Foster. I am the last born, proudly so. And who are you? I am Mahari. I am the second born.
Beautiful. So there's first, second, and last in triplets. I thought you were born on the same day.
We were.
But there's a first.
Oh, yes, there is a first.
All right. Michaela, Mahari, and Malaika.
Close by.
Beautiful. So, can you tell us a bit about your visit to Zimbabwe? Why did you choose Zimbabwe of all places in Africa? You could have gone to any country in Zimbabwe. In Africa. Why Zimbabwe?
I believe that the Lord ordained for us to come here first. Many times we have plans to go different places, and in our lives and in your life, I'm sure, you find that you might make a plan, but God has better plans. And so we found out through prayer and through meeting some lovely people here in Zimbabwe that this was the step that we were supposed to take, and it was Zimbabwe, and we are very happy that the first African nation we came to was Zimbabwe.
So you've already answered my other question, because I wanted to check whether you've been to any other African country.
The first.
So can you tell us, how has been your experience in this first African country? How has been your experience? Would you want to share? What did you see? Where did you go? And what are your plans? Because I know you're still here, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
A few more days?
We have another week. Another week.
What has been your experience?
Well, I landed in South Africa first before we came to Zimbabwe. And my poor Jamaican self got a culture shock. I came out of the airport and I noticed that it was cold. And, I had heard before that it was the ending of winter. So, coming from a country where it is always sunny, there is no winter. Yes, ma'am, no winter.
Jamaica is in Europe.
No.
It's not in Europe.
It's in the Caribbean. No winter. No winter.
Okay.
So coming from that place, I thought, okay, it's going to be chilly. So I carried sneakers and a light sweater, very, very chill. And I stepped out into that cold weather and I realized, wait a minute, this is winter. This is really winter. And so it really smacked me in the face. When I landed in Zimbabwe, I noticed that it wasn't as cold as South Africa. And we got a warm welcome. We met a lot of persons who were supporters of our ministry at the airport. Yes, and we took some pictures. But about Zimbabwe now, what I really enjoyed about Zimbabwe is, apart from the dangerous animals, which we don't have in Jamaica, which we may or may not have.
Which ones? Which ones did you see? The dangerous animals?
Well, we had the privilege of glimpsing the behind of a lion, the rare end of a lion. We do have lions in Jamaica, as in at the zoo. But it was a more poignant representation since we were in the motherland. We also got to, witness the culture in different aspects, in terms of respect of authority, such as, respecting elders a bit more, I think, than other countries. As in, that hand clapping that you do
so can you try it?
Try it.
Yeah. How do you?
Try? Go ahead.
Jesus. All right. You go like this. Okay. If you are a lady, and if you are a man,
I think you go straight.
Yes, you go straight. You got it. Okay.
Yes. So I'm seeing the differences in terms of culture there, but surprisingly, there are some similarities that Zimbabwe has with Jamaica. Mahari, what would you like to add to that?
I would like to add that the Zimbabwean singing, Lord, it's wonderful. And the congregational singing, I love the groups and everything, and they are just beautiful singers. But the real experience is being in the audience and actually hearing the congregational singing and how rich the harmony is. It was really wonderful.
Uh-huh. Have you mentioned the food?
The food.
We have been eating the food.
Yeah, man, the food was good.
Really good.
Some traditional foods? Did you taste any traditional Zimbabwean foods? Which ones?
We tasted some fruits from Zimbabwe. I don't remember the names. Please don't fault me here. We just tasted them. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
There are some similarities to some Jamaican fruits, but it's very unique, I would say mostly. There was this one, it's almost like, do they call it
like the gum chewing, like
it's like the chewing gum.
Matoe.
Thank you. So I really liked that one. I really enjoyed it. Yes.
That's our traditional bubble gum, huh?
Traditional bubble gum.
Yeah, Matoe. Beautiful. So would you recommend Zimbabwe to anyone who would want to come to visit Zimbabwe?
Most definitely. I can say that the perceptions of people, of the Western world, the US, they're like, let's support the Africans, they're out there languishing, we should do our part. But I can tell you, Africa is not like that, everyone. You have been tricked. You've been pulled into a scheme, everyone.
You got that one?
This is wrong.
And we did not buy into that because my parents were very insistent on us learning that you do not judge a culture by the media or the stereotypes that other countries place on that country. So Zimbabwe is wonderful, and the architecture, I think my sisters and I just love the architecture.
Did you by any chance go outside Zimbabwe to the rurals? Did you
Not
notice
yet.
anything in terms of the infrastructure in the rural communities?
Well, I think we went close to seeing some huts and I really loved them. It was kind of me, an experience of me walking into somewhat of a storybook, kind of. When I was younger, I used to read about, and you used to see the pictures of the huts and all these things, but when you really do see them in person, it's really a surreal experience.
The materials that they're built, the materials that they are actually built out of, they look very sturdy. And I'm thinking that the locals in such a setting have a very unique experience to be able to have their children grow in a way that is more in touch with nature as well as learning more practical skills in life. But because I think when we go more into the cities, sometimes the more practical touch is lost.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So you saw that, yes, there are some parts of our rural communities where you find electricity, where you might find tapped water, but generally our culture is we live in the huts, fetched with grass, and of course, way before you wouldn't see any like cement. You know, the floor would be like rough. They would use cow dung. Do you have cows in Jamaica?
Yes, we do.
Yes, to use cow dung to make sure that they polish the floors with cow dung. Yeah, that's Zimbabwe for you. So any phrases that you have learned, any Zimbabwean phrases that you'd want to repeat?
Let's not embarrass Tino. Okay,
Yeah.
come.
He taught us we should do well, oh Lord.
With all due shamefacedness, I'd like to try.
Please do go ahead.
Okay, so there's this one I learned. It's Macadini, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I hope I said it correctly.
You did.
Okay.
What does
okay.
it mean in English?
I do think it means hello.
No, how are you?
It's a hello, isn't it? How are you? Oh, he's saying, how are you?
Yes, it's how are you. It's how are you. You got it. You got it. Any other phrase? From that smiling face?
Sabata Rakanaka, is that it?
Wonderful. Meaning in English?
Happy Sabbath.
Isn't it Happy Sabbath?
Happy Sabbath.
Okay. Okay.
I'm proud of you. Proud of you.
I'm proud of myself too. Praise God.
Okay, so I want to tell you something. I bet you that there are some young men in Zimbabwe.
This tone is a little disconcerting.
Oh no. That face.
Some young men in Zimbabwe somewhere who would really want to know what it takes to date a foster. What does it take to really date a foster? If some Zimbabwean young men would want to try.
Mr. Foster, you're here looking, right?
No, don't worry about
He's
Mr.
starting his
Foster.
background. No,
What
keep
would
your
it
eyes
take?
open. Okay. So it's not for the faint of heart, sister. I'm telling you. It's a struggle, it's a war.
She's
I'm
saying
just
that-
kidding. What does it take to date
Can
one
you
of
throw the bomb
fosters?
to them? Throw the bomb.
Maharidi, would you like to start?
You're really putting me in the hot seat.
Okay. What does it take?
Yeah, what does it take?
I would say first I'm more of the, I don't know if you have it in this culture, but I'm more a traditional girl in the sense that for a serious, I think when you're trying to go into a serious relationship and you mean well, the first thing that you should do is do tell the parents that you have I have an interest in your daughter and I would like to pursue a relationship with her. I mean, that's just how it is in the traditional culture. I don't know if it's that way here, but I think it goes a long way to not prove, but it helps for the young man to show that my intentions are pure. It does not necessarily say he has a clean heart, but that's the first step. The other thing is that he must have a deep relationship with the Lord, because relationships, not because I'm in one doesn't mean I haven't been able to see quite a few.
You said not because you're in one.
I said not because I'm not in one.
Thank you.
Relationships are very serious and they can
Yeah.
pull you to
Yeah.
hell or send you towards heaven. The person that you associate with can have a deep impact on your life. So that person must be deeply spiritual. And I must also put a disclaimer that not because you're a spiritual person means that two of you will not ruin each other, because there's different broken pieces in our life and you can end up sticking that person. So I should have gone back to say that the first thing is prayer. The first thing is prayer before you jump into anything, because the step that you take into a relationship can change the whole trajectory of your life.
So let me check. It's Mahari, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So some young men out there, Mahari is saying, go to my parents first. And then you need to be someone who really is very focused on Christ, who has got a goal of going to heaven, because you don't want to miss heaven. And you need to be a prayerful someone.
Yes.
Powerful points. Powerful points. Next.
Well, I concur with what she said,
Yeah.
and I must add that I think she was already starting to mention that spirituality does not guarantee you a good relationship. At the end of the day, it is a building point, it's a building block of a good relationship. But if God hasn't led you in this direction towards this person, it better you not go there. Don't go there.
Yeah.
Because it can ruin you no matter how spiritual you are. So I think conditions
that the person would have to follow to
So it's all about spirituality, no handsome, no money.
all right. This is one of the things that I also think. In terms of courtship and marriage, we're going farther than dating now. When God put Adam and Eve in the garden, they had a garden first, which means they had a home. They had a livelihood. And they were putting that to good use. And so we all know that love can't feed you and love can't clothe you. So at the same time, having a stable income is important.
Powerful points. So please don't go away. We are going to come back in a little while to continue with the discussions. But quite important, the foster triplets, they are not putting money first. They are putting Christ first. And they're talking about their parents should approve. Powerful. That is a very powerful point which you must teach the Zimbabwean young men here, that parents matter in relationships. So we're going to come back and go deeper with questions to the foster triplets. Please don't go away. Welcome back to Young People Say. Before we went for the short break, we were having a very interesting conversation with the foster triplets, and they were telling us about the qualities that they are looking forward to in anyone who is interested in courting the foster triplets. So just a quick one. Would you consider a proposal from a Zimbabwean guy?
Well, at the same time, I am aware that the Lord will choose for me. So, regardless of the nationality or the race, whatever God says goes. So, if it's a Zimbabwean man, sure, as long as the Lord says so.
Good news to some Zimbabwean young men listening. So, Mahari and the trio, it is very evident that you guys are great singers. You sing powerfully. And I listened to you singing at Bluffhill Church the past Sabbath. I just want to know, does that come naturally to you to sing? Or is there some mentor behind the scenes? Is there some training and some coaching behind the scene? Or is this coming naturally to you to just sing? Were you born like that with the beautiful booming voices?
Okay, so my parents would tell you that when we were babies, we were making some funny sounds in harmony that we were just when we were little, and they did not know what that was at the time. But when we were in family worship at the age of 2, we started singing harmony that they could recognize at the time. So it has been something inherent because God made it that way. So it is a natural talent that God bestowed.
Wonderful. Yeah. So there is no coach behind the scenes?
Well, no, there's not a coach behind the scenes.
Yeah.
However, we did receive formal at Andrews University for about 3 sessions, sessions with a professor there. And that really did us a lot of good.
So who or what is your inspiration?
Inspiration in terms of singing?
Yeah, in terms of singing.
My inspiration, every time someone comes to me and says,
I was blessed by that song, or the Holy Spirit worked through you to tell me something, I am more and more encouraged to keep singing, to keep ministering. And it's especially when children, parents of children, or children themselves come to me and say, "Oh, you are my role model." It pushes me harder, and I want to go work harder, because there are so many souls depending on it, and I know that I don't want to save others and be a castaway myself.
So do you compose? Do you compose songs, or you get them from somewhere?
Yes, we do ma'am, compose we songs, compose and we songs. also do get pitched songs by writers, and then we arrange them ourselves, as well as we write songs as well.
You guys are wonderful. Okay, my next question is simple. You know, we understand that you're in university.
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you studying? Is it music? What are you studying in university?
Psychology.
The three of you?
Yes.
You're all studying psychology. Same class?
Same class.
Confusing
How did that
the
happen?
lecturers.
Same grades? Or
Same GPA. Same GPA.
Ah, okay. So how do you balance your schoolwork and your music ministry?
Oh, it's honor the Lord. I'm telling you, there's sometimes when I'm buried under schoolwork where I want to scream and tear my hair out. But
You love your hair, so you.
But I love my hair, so I won't tear it out. But you know, it's only the Lord that's helping us to balance this. I remember the first year was it was challenging, man. I don't think I was trying to find a steady pace, but it just wasn't coming to me. And the Lord helped us to get into a rhythm, trying to balance ministry and school.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you guys, do you have a social life? Outside music and singing, is there any social life somewhere out there for you guys?
I'm looking for the social life. I think it got lost somewhere.
It got lost.
Are you saying I'm not your social life?
No, you're not.
Oh, but as for a social life, do we have friends? Is that the question? Or
That's the question.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the question. Do we have friends like friends?
We do.
We do.
We do,
Yes.
definitely. And interestingly, we run in the same circles.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what that means.
Yes.
That we
We
are
have the
running.
same friends.
Because
Yeah. I think Mahari has more acquaintances than we do.
Yes.
She's more of a sanguine. She loves to meet people. She's all over.
We all love to meet people.
We all love to meet people, but she's the one. Oh, hello, how are you? She's the charismatic one, and I'm
She's
just
the
like, give me
charismatic
some of
one.
that charisma. I want it.
yeah, I bet you she has found a Zimbabwean, admirer with that charisma. With that charisma.
You have Kelly already found that, so yes.
So you tell me after this interview so that I make sure that I keep track and follow that young man, make sure that he's the right one for you.
It's all the same.
Okay, so you guys are inseparable.
Yes.
Is that so? You sleep together? You know, when you came,
do
you see, they are sleeping in different rooms, and you said, we are sharing. Yeah? You sleep together, you wear same clothes, same hairstyle, you do same everything, same everything.
I mean, now that you're saying it, it sounds bad. Really bad. Something is wrong. Needs to change.
Because that's where my question is coming from. How do you envision a future, your future with regards courtship? You know, with that same things that we are doing. Let's go deeper into courtship.
Well, in my opinion, what everybody might see is the same. But when you actually come into our circle and you're able to spend time with us, you're able to see that is mostly not the case.
Yes.
And when it comes on to courtship in the future, I'm just going to be there on the sideline just cheering you on.
Yes.
Whoever-
Likewise.
Exactly. Whatever happens in the future, once God is in it, it shall be well. So that's how it will go.
So are you looking forward to marry triplets? Or if someone marries, one of you marries in Zimbabwe, the other one in the UK, the other one in Jamaica, how do you see your music ministry surviving in such a scenario?
Thank you for that question. That is mind-boggling.
When we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
That's what we're always saying. I'm just letting the Lord do it, because I thinking about all of the
fine details right now. It's giving me a headache.
Yes.
I really can't comprehend what we're going to do in the future. So I just want the Lord to lead and let us follow in his footsteps.
All I know is if you marry a Zimbabwean, you marry a Ukrainian or someone else, I will be fine with it.
So
I'll be fine with it.
you'll be well, all will be well.
I'll be fine.
She looks like she's dying inside.
Actually, your eyes are saying something.
All is well.
I'll be fine. But you need to prepare for that at some point. You need to prepare for that at some point. Yeah. The same.
There'll be mutiny aboard the triplet ship soon, it seems. My sister is saying your tone is sounding a little bit suspicious. You're saying, oh yes, if I marry a Ukrainian and this and that and that. I'm a little suspicious. Just kidding, I'm troubling her.
So we want to move on to something else interesting here. We want to welcome the foster parents.
Yes.
Yeah, we want to make sure that they are with us. So as they are coming through,
Yes,
we
we
need
shall
to.
stand.
Yeah, we want to welcome the foster parents to come. Let us give a pam pam to the foster parents. We are actually standing for you. We are standing for you, wonderful parents. We can take a seat. Welcome.
Hi, Mom. Fancy to see you up here.
You are looking beautiful and handsome. Like the triplets. No wonder that they are as beautiful because they are taking it from the parents. I can see.
Do you see the forehead?
Yeah.
Take a good look, everyone. This is not a jacket, as they call
I can see the forehead. So, Mom and Dad, what has been your experience in Zimbabwe? Just briefly, what has been your experience of Zimbabwe? We heard some wonderful things from the triplets, so we also want to hear something from you. What has been your experience of Zimbabwe?
Experience in Zimbabwe has been just fantastic. If I were to grade it from 1 to 10, I would give Zimbabwe a 10.5. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And probably you may want to qualify. Why?
The people, the culture, the history, the beautiful scenery, everything. This is one country where I said, I always see myself living in Jamaica, but this one allowed me to start thinking other thoughts.
That's good to hear.
I'm not going to leave Jamaica though, but I'm just saying.
That's good
we may
to
have
hear.
to share.
Yeah, because we have got land in Zimbabwe. you can get sprawling lands here as long as you allow something to happen, which I'm going to ask you some questions about. If that happens, you can get, like 100 hectares of land in Zimbabwe. And Daddy, your experience?
For me?
Yeah.
For right now, I'll say a 5. And I know you'll ask me to qualify that. One of the things that I enjoy, I love animals.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to going to Victoria Falls. And I've been hearing that I will see animals. We went to a game reserve, but I did not see what I wanted to see. And I have some family members that are trying to say I am too adventurous. But I'm really looking forward. And when I say a 5, I'm just kidding, really. It has been an amazing experience in Zimbabwe.
Wonderful. Please don't go away. We are just taking a short break, and we are coming back to ask the foster parents some very interesting questions. So don't go away. Thank you. Welcome back to Young People Say. Before we went for the break, we welcomed the foster parents, and they told us a brief about their experience of Zimbabwe. The two of you, any parent would be proud to have such beautiful, immaculate, such dedicated, very spiritual children like the three. I want to be honest with you that I've heard some comments at Bluffhill where we at church, many parents saying, these two are blessed. just by listening to the three singing. So can you tell us what would be going through your innermost as you sit in the audience and your girls are performing? What would be going through your minds?
There's a sense of humility. I think that's one of the first things that that generally precedes my thoughts. Knowing their history in terms of how they came about in the first place. And that's probably for another time because it's a lengthy story. But we know from the beginning that it was God why we had them. And so it is a feeling of joy, but also a humility that covers that. So for me, I try not to become proud because it's not about me, it's not about them, it's not about any of us, but it's all about God.
Mama?
For me, while you're ministering, I'm spending a lot of time just praying because I'm saying, Lord, I want you to fill them with the Holy Spirit and let them do what you want them to do and not what we feel that they should do. So at the end of the day, I just want God to be glorified. And at the end, and when that is done, I'm good.
Power of a praying mother and power of praying parents. It's very evident that the Lord is answering your prayers. So has any of these girls ever been in trouble before?
Oh, yes,
All the time.
Who is the naughtiest? Who is the troublemaker of the three?
It's not me.
Well, as Marquin would often say, they are not perfect children because every child has their own struggle. So for different things, if something is broken, I know exactly who to ask. And if something looks a certain way or here, I said, okay, I know who that is. So I'm able to determine based on the trouble that presents to know who it is. Or maybe it's just all three.
It wasn't too bad. We weren't too bad, Joey. We weren't.
Actually, we were well behaved.
We were well behaved.
Yes,
for the most part.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Actually,
Apart from breaking some things.
Actually, it's very easy for moms to know who is the naughtiest. And dads, girls always are daddy's girls. Let's find out from the dad whether he knows any of the three who is naughty or whether he has ever dealt with a naughty act of any one of the three.
I'm very strong on discipline. And so I've always tried to point out, especially, we've been asked a lot from other parents. How did we parent? How did we achieve this outcome? And I've been quick to point out, just to ensure that there is no parent who listens to us and then feel as if they've failed or feel as if they are failing, to say, we do not have perfect children, but we have a perfect God. So when we bring them to the foot of the cross, God is able to take this fragility, this sinful nature that we have. Because the interesting thing as adults at this age, we are still being worked on by God. And so I'm mindful of that. And yes, I know them. And I had the privilege of spending a lot of time with them because we homeschooled them and I was the one who did the homeschooling. So.
And he mentioned quickly about discipline. Yes, we were high on love, but we were also high on discipline. Because you cannot have one existing without the other and not having a problem.
Higher on love and high on discipline. Beautiful. So I think you've stolen my next question, Papa Foster, because I wanted to ask, how did you manage to keep these beautiful girls in check? You know, they are so natural, not superficial at all. You know, young women of their age, you would see them with nails, painted mouths, and all that. But these ones are so natural. How did you manage to make them look like, you know, love the way that they're looking like today? How did you manage that? Well, what advice would you give to other moms out there?
All right. First thing, be the person you want your child to be. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is allow your children to know that they are special and that they are beautiful the way they are. And once you have to depend on something for you to look nice, it means that you have to continuously depend on that. And then and sometimes it becomes a slippery process where you start off this way and before long you can't recognize yourself. And it's the beauties from within. And God has his way of letting his love just shine on your face. So people look beyond certain things and see the love of God shining in you. And that's the emphasis. Let me see the love of God shining through you. Don't try to put it on. I want to see the real thing.
I must just add in that that's exactly what mom told us. She just repeated it. Right? She just repeated it.
Yeah, that was one of the lectures.
Yes.
Let's see the beauty that the Lord has given you shining on you. Don't paint it. Don't taint it. Good advice.
If I might add to that.
Yeah.
In the early stages, we guided them in that regards, in terms of dress, in terms of how they present themselves. But as time progressed, they were able for themselves to embrace this and to see that this is what God desired for them. And so this is not just what we have made, but it's something that they have
embraced. That's true.
So how do you envision the future? Which of you would have the hardest time to let go when the time comes for the girls to move on?
Letting go is like for every parent, it's not easy, but it's a daily process where, and I say to them, there's going to come a time where we will not be at the fore. So gradually we are making those backward steps. But as parents, you're always needed. If it's not for prayer, it's just to be on the sideline and just cheering them on. And if you see a foot slipping, you say, come, something is missing, check your step. Just to provide that. So that's what I am doing. And letting go, as I said, it's a daily process. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be hard.
And on your side?
That is the most chill one, actually.
I've had my struggles, to be honest, because since they have gotten to the age that they are now at, and conversations have come up in terms of relationships, I've had moments of discomfort.
You mean when the boys are young men are interested? That's what you're talking about?
Yes, and we're having conversations. So it is a process.
But may I add something here?
Please
For
do.
all you young men who the triplets have given you numbers, I'm just telling you, they have given you their father's numbers.
Sorry.
Their father's number. So you have got to go through daddy if you want to reach the girls.
Brave enough. As I told you, it's not for the faint of heart. So if you're brave enough, speak to that first, then we can talk. Oh my God.
Good news
Sorry.
to some young men out there. Daddy is here in Zimbabwe. The number that we are having is daddy's number. So you can call him anytime 24/7 and introduce yourself. That's good news. Please do it before he goes back to Jamaica. That's good news. So if any of the girls would opt to get married to a Zimbabwean guy, daddy, mama, what is your take? Would you welcome that? Or anyone else who is not Jamaican?
So I'll take that question first. I believe, and I've been saying it to different people since we have been here, that people are people. And it doesn't, for me, our nationality does not determine who we are. Because I am special in God's eyes. So it's not about a Zimbabwean. For some people, they are so desirous of going to certain places to live. So they want to choose a spouse based on that. But for me, it's not about a nationality. So if it's a Zimbabwean, perfect, as long as God
Your
selects
ideal
it.
son-in-law?
Ideal son-in-law? Somebody who loves the Lord, who will guide his family, and will be the priest of his home, the protector of his home, the provider, will serve in the capacity that God has ordained him to serve.
You sure have thought about this, Dad?
That's probably because I believe those are my roles
Yeah. Yes, it's all well laid out. Okay, so at this juncture, we just want to stand up a bit. The foster triplets and the parents. Yeah, because we want the foster triplets to say something to their parents, you know. We don't want you to say things at their graveside.
Yes, indeed.
Want you to tell them when they are alive. So what do you want your parents to know from your heart? When they are alive, what do you want to tell them? Give them your speech straight from your heart. What do they mean to you in one sentence or two?
I'm thankful for what you have done, and because there are no words to express how much you have done for me, there are not many that I can use to express how much you have done, because there would be many. So I want to thank you for what you have done and what you continue to do, and I love you so much.
Okay, Oma, Appa, you both have been my role models ever since I was little, and I aspire to be more and more like you, to have the positive characteristics that you embody and show us every single day. Thank you so much for raising me to be who I am today, and that you have not let my adulthood stop you from giving me pointers and telling me that you love me and care for me.
In Zimbabwe, we'll go.
Mom's been doing that lately.
Okay.
And for mine, I don't have much words to describe your role and your place in my life, Mom and Dad. And try, okay. But I know that you have an extremely large space in my heart and a large space in my life as well. And I don't want to take that for granted, so I want to thank you for every little thing that you have done, the advice, the words of comfort, the prayers at my bedside when I was younger, and even at this juncture. I really want to thank you for your spiritual presence, your physical presence, your emotional presence, and every type of presence in my life. I thank you.
Okay. Mama, what would you want to say to the girls in one sentence? You need to respond.
I'm trying not to get too emotional, but you're just such great girls. And if I were to choose to have,
Please don't cry, Mom.
I'm just happy for how God has kept you. And I would not have changed anything about you.
Daddy.
I love the three of you. And I just want to say that I'm proud of how you have held up your heads, and how you have continued on the course, being faithful to God first before anybody else.
Thank you so much for watching. We meet again next time on Young People Say.